today. I will stop share for a moment.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Thanks so much, Kak Clement, for the very beautiful introduction. Yeah.
You're welcome, Karina.
And good evening, everyone. Good evening from Jakarta, Indonesia. So I will share my screen. So I have a short presentation to help us understand better about UX, right? So like Clement has mentioned earlier, I would like to introduce myself just a bit. So you guys will know me better. Yeah. So my name is quite long. I know it's kind of hard to pronounce. My name is Karina Restisa Unidwi, but you can call me Karin. Just Karin for short. Yeah. I am a UX researcher at Tokopedia. I've been working there since 2018, so it's been 3 years. Yeah. During weekdays, of course, I do research mainly about fintech products at Tokopedia. So Tokopedia is not only a marketplace, but also you can invest e-gold, for instance, at Tokopedia. You can invest mutual fund. You can even purchase and invest insurance on Tokopedia. So it's a lot of things that you can do on Tokopedia. Yeah. And during my free time, on the weekends, for instance, I really love to cook. So I really love to, like experimenting with different types of recipes around the world from YouTube videos because I love YouTube. So yeah, that's all about me. Again, really glad to meet you all. Such an honor. And I hope we'll have a great time, talking about UX. So like Clement also mentioned earlier, the topics for today is about better UX, better web conversion. But actually, we are going to extract the topic into three chunks, into three agendas. The first one is about what is UX. So I think it's really important for us to understand the definition of UX itself before we can, dig deeper into a more specific topic. And then we are also going to talk about UX research, the definition of UX research, and why is it important for us, for our product, for our website. And of course, the most exciting part, I think, we are going to talk about how to create a better UX through research. Yeah, we're going to cover, how to conduct our own research with our target users, our participants, from our website visitors, for instance. We are going to learn about that later, right? So let's start with the first agenda for today. We're going to talk about the definition of UX. So I believe you guys are familiar with UX, with the acronym of UX as user experience, but maybe some of us think that it is the moment when our users, only when they're interacting with our product. But in fact, it is beyond that. So it covers the whole experience, the whole interaction, not only with our product, not only with our website, but also with our company, our value that we share to our customers, our image, and then our services, how we serve our customers, about customer service in some sort. So user experience covers all of these attributes, right? And then maybe some of us are kind of mixed up between UX and UI, between user experience and user interface. I know those two kind of similar, but actually they're both different, right? So I will show you this table, the summary of the differences between user interface and user experience. I know it's kind of technical, but I will help you to, to give you an illustration to help us easier to understand this concept, right? So imagine we look at a website, right? The website is very beautiful. The layout is very neat. The theme, the color is very pleasing the eye. The font is really good, and so on and so forth. But we don't know yet, when we use the website, whether or not it has a good functionality, what we expected to the website to do. We don't know whether or not we can, like go from another page, from one page to another page smoothly. We don't know, for instance, we have an e-commerce, we don't know when we use the e-commerce itself, whether or not we can check out smoothly, we can, pay our transactions smoothly, and so on and so forth. So those are the differences between UI and UX. So UI is about visual elements, like I said earlier, about color, about layout, about font. It's the visual interpretation that we can see from our screen, right? So that is user interface, but user experience is behind that visual elements, right? The feelings that we feel when we use the website, the emotions that we feel when we interact with the components on the website, and then whether or not we have a delightful experience when you use the website. So that's UX, right? So I think this concept is kind of technical, but I think it is, again, important for us to understand the differences between those two, right? So that's about UX, yeah. Kind of short, yeah, but I want us to focus on the third part, actually. So we're going to talk only a bit, yeah, about the definition of UX, and also the definition about UX researcher that I will deliver to you in a second. So after we talk about the definition of UX, I think it is also important for us to dig deeper a bit, yeah, to be more specific, talking about UX research. So user experience and research is a thing right now. Maybe some people think it's a new, it's a new field on the block. It's right, it's true, because it is not like, it's not it's not an old thing, I guess. It's quite a new thing, maybe like 5-6 years. In the past 5-6 years, UX research is become more common and common each day. So UX research is basically aims to understand users' behavior, needs, motivation, and frustrations related to their interaction with design or experiences. So it's not only about looking into their behavior, looking at their experience when using our product, but also beyond that, we want to uncover their motivation, why they use our website or other website, marketplace A or marketplace B, even their frustrations, right? Because obviously we want our product to help them with their daily lives, with their pain points, with their something that are difficult to do for them. We want to help them. We want to serve them better, right? So those 4 attributes that I marked as a green color: behavior, needs, motivation, and frustrations. It's like 4 main points that we want to cover in UX research, right? So this is really important because these 4 attributes are working hand in hand, right? If we know our behavior, our users' behavior, but we don't know their frustrations, for instance, of course, we couldn't really, make something fully delightful for our users, or vice versa. If we know their needs, but we don't know their behavior, for instance, okay, we can answer their needs, but maybe our solution is not according to their behavior, right? So maybe they're facing difficulty in adapting our system, our website, because it is not, they're not used to what system that we have implemented, right? So these 4 attributes are working hand in hand. So it's really important for us to take notes, yeah, on these 4 things, because this is the main or the core points of UX research, right? And maybe after this slide, maybe some of you guys will have a follow-up question. For instance, like, okay, I'm a designer, I am a developer, so why should I, talk to our users? Why I have to understand our users? Why I just can't to I can't just implement what I have in mind, right? What concept that I have in mind, because I'm a designer, I'm a developer, I'm capable to do that kind of thing. But why I have to do this thing? Why I have to talk to our users, right? So I know that's a common question, and I used to when I was before I uh, work as a UX researcher, I also thought that way. I came from computer science background, by the way, so I do a lot of coding and so on, and there are a lot of things that I thought, oh, I can implement this way because I'm capable. I'm a software engineer back then, right? So why should I talk to our users? Because I think it's not really important, right? But that's not 100% true, but also not 100% false. But here's the thing: if we design without research, yeah, okay, the product is there, yeah, the product is 100% become an object that we can use, right? But it's just a pretty art project because we don't know yet about the functionality, about the usability, whether or not people can use that that in the way that we are expected them to do, and so on and so forth. So here's something to take notes also, because maybe oftentimes we think that, okay, this website is good, then why we have to talk to our users to test this website to our users, because behind that we have to understand also about how our users interact with our website, right? So that we can have a kind of sharper solution when, for instance, users face any frustrations, any pain points. We have a sharper solution, and then when we implement that solution, hopefully the users can accept it better, and there is a significant improvement after we implement that solution, right? So design without research is just a pretty art project, and if we we build our product based on assumption, I think it is not a good basis, because obviously we want to create a good product. We want to deliver the best experience to our products. So of course, if we want to do that, we have to have a great basis, which are research insights, and also data, right? So that's about UX research and the definition of it, why we have to do UX research. And yeah, as I promised, those two agendas, we only, just a bit, discussion about that. And then it's time for us to discuss a more technical thing about how to create a better UX through research. So research is the core topic in this agenda. Yeah, so we are going to talk about a lot about research, but I promise you it's not going to become complicated. I will help you to to give some illustrations so that we're going to easily understand the concept of UX research itself, especially when we implement this into our website, e-commerce, and so on and so forth, right? So when we talk about UX research on the website, here are the common process, that we are going to execute in the UX research itself, right? So the first one, of course, we want to define the research purpose, because it is important for us to guide us along the way. And then we will write it down into a research plan, and then conduct the research, analyze the data, and also we want to measure or track the impact, right? Okay, I will go through each one of the stage, and I think it will be easier for us to just pretend, that we are a business owner selling women's clothes. So for example, 6 months ago we made a website using a free source. We hope that the website can boost up a transaction. And as the business owner and website builder, because we're entrepreneur, so we have two roles in here. We are business owner and also website builder. We think that the user interface is pleasing to the eyes because as far as I know, a free website builder, they really help us a lot in, choosing layout and choosing theme, choosing color, fonts, and so on and so forth, right? So according to us, as a website builder, this is good. Like, this is the best version that I can do to my website, right? But we don't know why the transaction rate from the website is continuously stagnant. Although we have implemented a special discount for website purchases, and we promote our website on our social media handles, the number of transactions is still low, and we don't know why this is happening, right? So because of that, we want to know why, right? We want to know why and what we can do to tackle this problem, because obviously we want we want our business to grow, right? We don't want our business to get stagnant and face a bankruptcy or something like that, right? We don't want something that happens to our business, right? So if we go through each stage that I presented earlier, first, we are going to define the research purpose. So for instance, our website named ABC, so these are 6 questions that we can ask ourselves to help us define the purpose of the research. So what is the product? Of course, our website, ABC website. And then, for instance, our business, our boutique, for this case, named ABC Clothes. So when we ask ourselves, who are the users of the products, of course, we want to conduct the research to the buyers of ABC Clothes. And then what do you want to know and why? Because of previous explanation, we already know that we want to grow our transactions. So we want to know how buyers utilize ABC website to buy clothes, weaknesses and opportunities for improvement in order to increase transaction rate, right? And then when do we need the results? Well, this is actually not really important, I would say, when we implement this into our own business, because we ourselves know that face better, right? I think this is more essential if we work with other people. For instance, we work at the company with different stakeholders, usually like business people or product people or design people that would ask about this because they have deadlines and prioritization that they want to execute. So I think this is not really essential for us because we know our own face, but this is just an example. For instance, we want the result by the week 4 of September 2021 because we want to tackle the problem as soon as possible. As soon as possible is great, right? And then about what will you do with the research results? Of course, we will extract the findings to improve user journey of ABC website, because maybe we have hypothesis. Maybe there are pain points in there. Maybe there are frustrations that users cannot handle at the moment, so that they're bounced out or churned from our website, right? And then we can also look into our internal data, to have or to formulate the hypothesis before we conduct the research. So this question, what do you know now, will cover those things. So for example, we look into our internal data, the performance statistics in our website. We saw that, this ABC website is developed 6 months ago, but the conversion to transaction is still low. But we saw that buyers mainly bounced out on the cart page. So this is actually gem for us. This is really valuable because this gives us a clue that maybe the hypotheses are first, maybe the overall pages, for instance, like the search result page, for instance, or the product page, for instance, they're good. Yeah, there are no issue in those pages, but maybe there is an issue in the cart page, so that people cannot, go on the next step. They cannot pay for the transaction, or maybe they just the second hypothesis is that they just want to try, just want to explore the website. They don't have the intention to purchase the product, right? But still, we don't know which one is true. So this is just the hypothesis, but I think this is a good start for us, yeah, to shape our research plan and to shape how to conduct the research, right? So again, these 6 questions, this is just a basic question and common questions that we can use to help ourselves to define the research purpose. If you have another question, because obviously every business have their own thing, yeah, maybe there are different kind of things that can be covered in this research purpose. Of course, you can add your own question, but this 6 questions, these basic questions, obviously we can use this to help us to find the root cause, and eventually shape the research plan that we can execute later. Right. So after defining the research purpose, it's time for us to make a research plan. Why? Because like a house, before we build a house, we need to build, or we need to make a blueprint, because every time we build the house, maybe there are so many things happening, and we are kind of overwhelmed with that kind of thing. It is really important for us to have a foundation, a guideline, so that everything can be executed as precise as possible, as we planned earlier. So it is also important for us to make a research plan. There are many parts of research plan. Yeah, these are the examples: research objectives, scope, methodology, criteria, study guideline, and timeline. But I will break it down into the real example. So I hope it will help us to, easier to understand this concept, right? So for instance, research objective, I think we mentioned this thing many times earlier. Research objective, of course, we want to identify the strengths and weaknesses of ABC website and provide opportunities for improvement, because we knew that our transaction is low. So of course, we want to improve our website, so that we hope in the future our website will have a higher and higher transaction rate, right? And about the research scope, it is actually the umbrella questions. I would say it's the big scope that we want to know from our research. So for example, we want to know how people use our website, their behavior when interacting with our website, and then what is the learning curve when buyers interact with our website, and then common errors buyers make when use the website. Yeah, so we can eventually identify, which point that has a higher churn point, for our users, and so on. We have the clue to prioritize which type of thing that we have to tackle first, and then maybe some of the points can follow or can be executed later, right? So this is just an example of research objective and research scope. I believe, again, every business has their own uniqueness. So of course you can adjust the objective and the scope according to your business, right? So after that, after we define our objective and scope, Now, define the methodology. I know it's kind of overwhelming, yeah, because there are so many methodologies presented in this screen. But actually, these are it's just an example of user research methodology that I want you guys to know. Yeah, there are qualitative, quantitative, and desk research. But according to this plan, yeah, according to this study case that we mentioned earlier, because we want to know the strengths and weaknesses of ABC website, and then specifically we want to know how do people use ABC website. Maybe we can use usability testing. Why is that? Because as we can see in here, usability testing will test design using scenarios. So we will give the users our website, for instance, the live version of our website, and then we will ask our users to use it. Yeah, for instance, let's say you want to buy products from ABC website. So what are you going to do with what are you going to do in this website? And then they will, naturally execute one by one each step. They will go. They will make you go through each step that they usually do, and then for that instances we can understand, oh, okay, this is the natural flow of this user, so that we can kind of have the same perspective with our users, right? We can place ourselves into their shoes so that we can really understand their pain points and experiences and frustrations and so on and so forth, right? So that's just one of the instances. Or maybe we want to just have a deeper talk. We don't want our users to, let us go through each step that they usually do. For instance, we just want to understand about their motivation, shopping in our website, and then why they choose our website. Maybe there are another websites that they choose, for instance. We don't want them to, execute scenarios or again use our website and do a simulation. Maybe we can use in-depth interview in this case, because as we can see in the definition, it's just a way for us to have a longer session with our users to really dig deeper into their behaviors without involving designs, without concept testing and so on and so forth. So it's more about uncovering the behavioral questions, and uncovering their experience expectation with our products, right? Or maybe you want your users to be more intensely interact with the website so that you will have a deeper understanding with your users, for instance, because maybe there are factors affecting how user interact with our website, right? So when the case happen, we can use diary study, because diary study, as the name conveys, we will ask our users to record their journey from day 1 to day 7, for instance, when they interact with the website, right? So maybe in day 1, everything's fine, everything's good, so far so good, but on the day 6, for instance, or day 5, for instance, they face difficulty because they use another feature on the website, or they read, a glimpse of copywriting that is, for them, it is hard to understand. So again, these are just the example of the methodology. Again, you can adjust with your own needs. Yeah, if you want to really look deeper into how user interact with your product, you can use usability testing. If you want to just dig deeper into users' behavior, all of your questions it's all about behavioral questions, you can use in-depth interview. But if you want to really, look at the journey, a continuous journey from your users, from day 1 to day 6, for instance. You want to see the dynamic of the data and so on and so forth. You can use diary study because users will intensively record their behavior with the website. So the insights eventually will be richer, and there are so many things that you can extract from it. Maybe you can make prioritization from it, which one that you want to tackle first, and which one you want to, become the second or third priority, and so on and so forth, right? So you can choose whatever methodology that works for you, right? So after we define the research methodology, we define our participant criteria. So remember that in the first part of this section, we want to understand why our website cannot make transaction, right? Why our transaction rate is still low. And on the next part, we already knew that buyers mainly bounced on the cart page. So we may combine these two things to form a participant criteria. So in here, for instance, we define this participant criteria that we want to reach out. So for instance, because we sell women's clothes, mainly, formal clothes, we want to include our target market in here. So the first criteria will be women aged 22 to 55 years old. And then have visited ABC website in the past 6 months, but never transact. Why? Because this is, for us, for instance, this is concerning, because they have visited the website, but why they never transact, right? It's a big, question mark in there, right? So we want to cover that participant criteria, and this is the third part that I mentioned earlier. So after we look into our internal data, we found that users mainly bounced out from cart page. So we also can include the criteria in here, right? So maybe we can reach them out through their email, because usually people will register to website, they will drop their emails and their contacts, and maybe we can also see which user exactly bounced out from cart page. So I think looking into our internal data is also important for us to define this participant criteria, and eventually will help us to reach them out. We ask them to become our participant criteria. But this is an example of how to define participant criteria, right? So we can combine the internal data, what we can see from the performance statistics of our website, for instance, and what we want to achieve. What is the objective of the research? And even we can also include our target market in here. Like I've mentioned earlier, for instance, we have a target market of women age 22 and until 55 years old. Of course, we can include that into our participant criteria, because maybe different types of age, for instance, they will have different difficulties. They have different behavior that we can cater, and eventually we can connecting the dots and provide solution that hopefully can cover as many users as possible, right? So that's about participant criteria. And after that we are going to make a list of questions. So it is actually it's just a tool for us to remember about what types of question that we want to ask to our users, right? This is actually, if you feel like, okay, I can remember all of the questions that I want to ask to our users, then you can skip this part, right? But sometimes there are so many things going on and we forgot about, many things. So I think it is it is better for us to prepare a study guideline, so that we can create a good flow when we conduct the interview. We can have a good rapport with our users, right? Because rapport is important, obviously. So this is the example of study guideline. So we usually will start with, chit chat, yeah, like Karin has done earlier. Start with chit chat to, break the ice. Maybe some of you guys are familiar with ice breaking term. Yeah, so this is also important in interview because our users and ourselves are strangers, right? But we want our users to tell their story to us, right? We believe that it is hard for strangers, for users, they're a stranger to us. Of course, it is hard for them to tell their story to us because, who are you? Gitu kan, kayak, who are you? Why I have to tell my story to you? I think it is not really important for me. Nah, that's the thing that we want to avoid from our interview, right? So it is really important to break the ice at the first phase in our qualitative study, right? So it is really important for us to, just asking their name and then their daily activities, just to, make him or her a little bit, have a relaxed moment, build their trust to us. Yeah, so eventually they can tell their story in a more comfortable way, and eventually we as a researcher can really extract what they want, what they expect from the website, right? And then after breaking the ice, general behavior is also something to build the rapport, right? So general behavior, we're going to talk about, for instance, we want to conduct the research to our website. We can ask them about, what do you usually shop? If you shop online, what type of platform that you usually use, for instance. It's just to get the sense of their behavior, their shopping behavior, right? Because maybe they shop in different platforms, right? Maybe offline and online shops have different, different factors that affect them in choosing both platforms. Maybe there are, situations or conditions that will affect their decisions in making purchase decision. So it's just to get the sense of their behavior in shopping, right? And then jump into the primary topic. This is the part where we want our users to really show their behavior in our website. Yeah, so because earlier we want to really know about where's the problem, whether or not it is about the design, whether or not it's about the button that is programmatically error, or what, right? So in here, it's time for us to ask them about that, but of course not in a direct sentence, but we can mask the question, we can mask the sentence with this type of sentence, right? So we try to make the user position themselves into some sort of condition. So we can ask them, imagine that you currently need a white shirt for this week's job interview. What are you going to do on the website? So this is actually not, we're not directly ask our users to, hey, buy from our website, right? But we're try to, kind of triggers our users in a most polite way, in the most smooth way, so that after our users getting this question, they will think, oh, okay, what am I going to do if I need a shirt with for this week's job interview and I have to interact with the website, what am I going to do? And then they will, like kind of track back to their natural behavior. If I in this situation, what am I going to do, right? So it's about how we can quote unquote persuade our users to go through their natural behavior, right? We don't want them to be, like quote unquote again, like faking the journey. We want as natural as possible because of course we want to solve their problems that they may face in the daily basis, right? Not the fake one that they just made up to impress us, for instance, in the session, right? So we want them to go through the natural experience that they usually done in the past, right? So primary topic, again, it covers our, of course, primary objective of the research, but we can mask the question in this way to kind of give a smooth trigger, I would say, to our users, right? And then after we dig deeper into their experience, of course, we can close the session. You can say thank you. We can say if we have an incentive, for instance, like, I don't know, maybe vouchers or discounts or cashbacks or anything like that. We can also tell them about this. And then we can also ask them about, is there any other thing that you want to say about ABC website? I usually ask this question because I don't want my users to think like, oh, Karina, yeah, she just want to, hear from me. She just want me to answer her concern about the design, but she doesn't want to listen about my problems, any other problems with the website. So yeah, I think it is not fair, and so on and so forth. So I think it is also important for us to ask to our users to show that we care with our users, right? Remember, in the first part, we're talking about service. UX experience, user experience is also about service. So I think this is one of the ways for us to show that to our users that we're truly care for them, we truly listen to them, and we want to always serve the best for them, right? So, so this is the qualitative study guideline. Again, you can adjust with your own needs because this is just a basic example, a common example that we usually use in the research field, right? After that, this is just a quick tip, yeah, to make a study guideline. So actually, I've mentioned some of the tips earlier. So avoid leading question. This is I mentioned earlier, yeah, but I will explain to you about the first and third point because I think I was not covering that topic earlier. So use open-ended question whenever possible. It's kind of the way for us to not directly ask the user because they will, like kind of afraid when we give direct questions. So let them just tell their story, right? And we are there to listen to them, right? So rather than, did you ever shop on e-commerce XYZ? Maybe in fact they didn't shop on XYZ e-commerce, right? But maybe because they're afraid, they say yes, and that's not a natural answer that they want to give for us, but for the sake of, because, oh yeah, I'm afraid, I just want to please him or her, I just want to say yes. So yeah, I think that's not a good approach that we can use to our users, right? So be gentle. We can be their friend, right? Remember about strangers illustration that I mentioned earlier. We're strangers. We cannot avoid that, but how we can make our users comfortable is really important in this session, right? So rather than asking a very direct question, we can mask them into a more open question. Tell me about your current online shopping behavior after pandemic, for instance, so that they can tell their story. They can, like blah 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 blah. Whether they want to, share long story, it's okay, because we already let them to tell their natural experiences, right? Their experiences based on their daily basis. So I think it is really important for us to cover the purest response from our users, right? So be specific is also important in this topic. Why is that? Because, for instance, we only ask our users about how many times do you shop online. Okay, I've been shop online for about 6 years, so it's really hard for them maybe to track back, about the experience. About which experience should I tell you about? My experience in the first year or second year or third year or current experience, right? So the specific, maybe you just want to know their experience in the past month. So yeah, just mention it in a month, right? In the past month, for instance, in the past 6 months, for instance. So on one side, we'll let our users to tell their natural story, but on the other side, we help them to also, pinpoint which timeline, which time frame that the moderator want me to tell them, right? So it will be easier for them to think about that, right? So yeah, a little bit long, but I hope it's not boring. So you can still cope with this flow, but I promise you, this is just another, like a few slides left. So don't worry about that. Yeah. And research timeline, again, this is not really necessary because we know our own face. So maybe you want to just define the timeline so that you can, cope with the progress and so on and so forth. Maybe you can just write down a simple timeline like this, right? So just, to keep in mind that, oh yeah, I have to start the recruiting on week 1 of September, and I have to start the study day on the 2nd week of September, something like that. Just a reminder, actually, but this is actually not really necessary if we conduct the research, if we are the business owner. So totally we can skip this part, right? And this is actually, I'm not going to talk deeper about explanation about this, because this is actually similar to what we have discussed earlier about example of qualitative study guideline. So when we execute the research, of course, the flow will be similar. We are going to start from introduction, pre-usability testing. UT is usability testing, by the way. So pre-UT, we mentioned earlier about general questions and so on. Usability testing will be filled with a more specific question. For instance, we want our users to simulate how they use our website, and end with a closing statement. Again, ask them about maybe they have general suggestions to our website. Maybe they have another feedback that is maybe not related to shopping experience. Maybe they have feedback about customer experience, customer service, I mean. So let our users to talk about that also in the session, right? And then now this is the exciting part. After we conduct the research, there are so many things that we can get through the research, right? There are so many data points all over the place, maybe because we interview maybe more than one user, right? Maybe we interview 5 users, 6 users, and so on and so forth, according to our segment that we have planned earlier, right? Maybe we face a difficulty to, extract the key takeaways from the insights or research findings, right? So these 3 things is the simplest thing that we can do to eventually, extract the findings and then, make actionable insights from it, right? So I will go through each step with an example. So I hope it'll be easier for us to understand the concept. So this is the example of data gathering. Yeah. So the first step, the first step, we are going to gather all data. So this is the example of gathering data, right? So again, you can see in here there are different different verbatim from our users, right? Different type of users, they tell us, they told us different things. We can gather all of the data. We can, maybe we can use sticky notes to write it down. So it'll be easier for us to have a holistic view, comprehensive view of the findings. And then after we gather the data, the second part will be analyze pattern and put theme, right? So this is the theme, actually, with the green highlight and the red highlight. This is the theme that we extract after we connect the dots. Yeah, the dots means the verbatim of the from our users, right? So, for example, in here we can see that all of the users are youth. This is youth. This is youth. This is adult. This is actually adult. Yeah, and this is also adult. But they have similarities. What is that? The similarities is their age is below 35 years old, right? So maybe we can consider them as young users, right? And also we can see in here all of the users talking about practicality, right? I shop online when something is not available in the offline store. And then I bought electronics and shoes several times. It's good. You don't need to go to the store, right? It's talking about practicality. Again, in here, for instance, besides, it's beneficial because I can get cashback. So it talks about practicality, but in different way. But still, they can get cashback, right? Maybe if they shop offline, they couldn't get cashback. They couldn't get discount. So it is about benefit. It's about practicality, right? So because of that, because we can see there are similarities in here, there are younger users, they're talking about practicality, then we can put theme in here. Practicality is the main consideration to shop online for young users, to be exact, right? But if we see in here in the right part of the page, there are only 3 users in here, but that's okay. We can see that the age is middle age, right? Middle age, upper or higher than 35 years old. And okay, I will go through I will help you to read the verbatim. So in here, the user said that online shopping is such a hassle, right? And then in here, the user said, I don't want to shop online, blah, 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 because my cousin got cheated, yeah, when shopping online. So if we try to connecting the dots, first we found the similarity that all of the users the majority of users are, more senior, more in the senior age, like older users, right? And regarding the behavior, we can also see that they have trust issue about the practicality, trust issue about the security, because in here my cousin got cheated, and then the user, they become afraid to shop online, right? So in here we can connecting the dots and put theme in here. Elderly users have trust issues toward online shopping, right? So that's the most simplest way for us to analyze the data, put the theme, put the pattern analysis on it, so that after we put the theme and analyze the data, we can extract the key takeaways that we can implement to our website, right? So for instance, after we do the data analysis and theme analysis, pattern analysis, this is the insight. Young and adult users have a more positive attitude toward online shopping than middle-aged users. the trust issue is the main reason that hinders middle-aged users from doing online shopping, right? So maybe from here, we can see that our first or our priority would be how to attract middle-aged users, older users to eventually shop in our website, right? Maybe we can put that in our priority. And then maybe from here, we can also extract the actionable insight. For instance, the problem is about trust, right? About assurance, about the security, right? Maybe we can put something like a copywriting that said that if you you have a more advanced system in the payment system, for instance, you can put a copywriting in your website. This payment system implemented in this website use a advanced system where we guarantee that our users' data would not be leaked. We promise you, we guarantee you that your data is 100% with us, and so on and so forth. So that kind of copywriting, that's simple, but it can, gives our users a more assurance when they want to shop in our website. Or another approach that we can also implement, for instance, this is also about security. Maybe we can make some kind of promotion or a program. For instance, if you didn't get your product in 7 working days, you can request for a refund, for instance, or a free pickup service if you don't like the product for any reasons, for instance. It also gives our users assurance that, oh, this website really understand me as a buyer, right? It gives me an assurance that if the product is not according to my, my need, for instance, it is not according to my expectation, for instance, they can tackle them and they're okay with that. So I feel safer when shop in this website, right? So that's the example of key takeaways, key insights that we can use to eventually improve our user experience in our website. I know the process is kind of long, but remember, in the first part of this section, we are going to, if we want to build a great product, then we couldn't, make a basis from an assumption, right? It is really important for us to really make a good basis from data, from research insights. It's really important for us to talk to our real users, to understand, really have a better understanding about their behavior, their pain points, their frustrations, their needs, their motivations in some sort, because eventually we want to serve them, right? We want to serve our users, right? So because of that, because we want to serve our users, it is really important to listen to our users, right? Although the process is long, I believe it will going to be so worth it, and eventually can increase our web conversion, right? So I think this is my last slide about track research impact. So for instance, after we extract the key takeaways and then implement it into our website, of course, we can look into our internal data. We can see, we can maybe make a, differentiation, between before the implementation and after the implementation. Maybe we can see whether or not the performance are going up. For instance, maybe we can, have a periodically look into our internal data quarterly or half yearly, for instance. We measure the conversion rate, whether or not it has a significant improvement or what. If not, then maybe we can conduct another research, because maybe there are things that we didn't cater from the previous research, or maybe there are things that we miss, and so on and so forth. I think that's the common thing in research. And then maybe we can also reach out to our users by using online survey. Maybe we can embed the link of the survey in our website so that many users can see it and eventually fill in the survey. Because this is the realization of, talking to our users, right? We listen to our users. So this small survey, besides, to measure the impact, we also want to continuously listen to our users so that maybe there are things that are going on, maybe they have difficulties, we can, as soon as possible, know about that, and hopefully we can also, as soon as possible, tackle the problem, right? So yeah, that's all I got. Really sorry because my presentation is quite long, but I hope you can, have so many like takeouts from here. And the last thing that I want to say before we jump into the Q&A session is that research does not need to be scary or intimidating. I know maybe some of the, maybe UX enthusiasts even, they think research is a big word, like it's beyond, say, oh no, I'm afraid with research. No, it's not a intimidating thing, but anyone can do research, even though we are not a researcher. We don't have a researcher title, for instance. Research is fun. Research is fun because eventually when we can see the result, the end result, for instance, oh, because of research, my web conversion becomes higher and higher each day. It's really glad for us to know about that thing, right? So it's worth it. It's not complicated. Anyone can run research session. Yeah, you just need to think beyond. You just need to have a strong passion for insights, and better things can come to you. So yeah, again, thanks so much for having me. Really sorry for my wrongdoings. Yeah, my wrong languages and so on, because I have a language barrier. English is not my first language, is not my mother language. But yeah, I hope you have a great time. And thank you so much. Maybe you have a LinkedIn. Let's connect on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn, Karina Rasisaini Dwi. And yeah, pass it back to Kak Clement for a Q&A session.
Wow, thank you, Karina. I should say Karin, yeah. Thank you, Kak Karin.
Thank you.
Okay, the presentation is very good, and there's a question from attendees here that would you like to share your presentation? Is it okay or not?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, I will update with all the leaders, and then we will update to all the members where you can get the presentation. Okay, now for the Q&A will be led by Jelin. Okay, Jelin, now it's yours.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. By the way, Karina, great presentation, and your English is perfect, so don't worry
Oh, thank
about
you so
it.
much.
Yeah, so to everyone, just to see if you guys were really listening, we're gonna start with a pop quiz. So I'm going to start calling out. No, I'm just kidding. um, if anyone has a question, you can raise your hand, or you can give me a shout out here on the chat. Does anyone have a question? Yeah, so we have Danny. Yeah, go ahead. You can unmute, and you can also turn on your camera.
Okay, hey Karina, I've got a question for you. So because I don't work in like a big agency, so it's like just a small outfit, and then I work with clients. So my question to you would be like, how do you reach out to a customer's user base to start a qualitative survey? Like what's the preferred communication channel, like physical or email or Zoom? Yeah, so that's my question.
Okay, thank you. Jillian, can I answer this question, or
Yes.
maybe we collect the question and then answer after we have, a bunch of questions?
Actually, we can. You can start. Go ahead with Danny, and then I'll collect the other questions on the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Danny, for your question. So maybe I will give you guys a perspective from the, company perspective, because I work at Tokopedia, and from the, business owner perspective. Yeah. Because maybe the scale of the business will be different, and what is it? The adaptation of the tools and user pools and so on and so forth will be also different, right? So usually at Tokopedia we have our user pools, right? So we have different tools also to reach out to our users, be it sellers or buyers. So we usually make an invitation. So it's like a survey. It has screening questions, for instance, and then it also collects, for instance, like the time allocation that they want to choose to attend the session and so on and so forth. And then we distribute the invitation through our notification center, right? So whenever people open the application or open the website, and then they open the notification center, they will see the invitation. And then if they want to participate in the session, they can fill the invitation form, and then we will get back to them, and then have a schedule and so on and so forth, right? So that's how we reach out to our users. Maybe because our user base are quite a lot, yeah, because our coverage is in all over Indonesia. So that's the practice that we usually done at Tokopedia, right? But I think it will be different if we, if we talk about a smaller business, right? Maybe the tools are different and so on and so forth. But what I can give or provide the suggestion, yeah, for you. Maybe first things first. Well, I believe in the website, people will register to the website. They will drop the email, the maybe their phone number and so on and so forth. Maybe that's a good start for us to reach them out, right? Maybe we can send them an email, or maybe if you have a budget to send an SMS, you can also go with it. I think the preferred channel, it is kind of trial and error, I would say, because for instance, we think that email is the most effective one. Then we go with email, for instance, but in fact, the conversion is like the response rate is not that good. So I think for preferred channel, I think it's more about trial and error. But you can choose whatever you have in your pocket. Yeah. You can utilize email, you can utilize SMS, and then you can evaluate the response rate later. And then after that, you can prioritize. Yeah, after you have a recap, for instance, you can prioritize to use the channel that for you it gives you the most response rate comparing to other channels, right? So yeah, I hope it was helpful for you.
Yeah. Danny, do you have any other follow-up questions for Karina before we move on?
No, I think I'm good. I mean, practically, like Karina said, as a small business owner, I guess it's just to see which is the preferred channel that the respondents would respond to. I like it that you mentioned about response rate. I think that will give a key indicator of like actually what's the proper channel to use. Yeah. So thank you for answering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Karina. And yeah, actually, I guess it's also a matter of evangelizing our clients, our small business clients, the importance of UX, because at the end of the day, this is about increasing their conversion rate, right? This is something that impacts their bottom line. So it's really worth additional investment. We have a question here from Sherry. How much of the writing at Tokopedia is driven by UX research?
Oh, so this is specifically about copywriting, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I would say pretty much because we continuously, before, for instance, we want to launch a product. It's a new product, for instance. Before pre-launch, we usually conduct a usability testing. We don't only test, the design, the visual elements on it, the color, and so on and so forth, but we also test the copywriting. So we always make sure that the copywriting it conveys the message that we want to deliver to our users. And then after that, in our evaluation research, for instance, we also always we touch the copywriting side, because I think it is one of the most important part in conveying message to our users, because there's no other way than the copywriting, right? I mean, we can directly have a chit chat with our users, right? We can only use picture and copywriting. So those two things we always cover in our usability testing regularly in our pre-launch session, pre-launch usability testing, and also after launch, after release usability testing or evaluation research.
Yeah. So maybe Karina, as a follow-up question, in the same vein of the first question, for example, if I'm a small business owner, I have a small, in your example, online boutique, and I want to test certain copy on my website. Should I prioritize something? What are some of the maybe most important pieces of copywriting that I should test in case I need to prioritize?
Okay. So I assume that online boutique it's about converting transaction, right? I mean, transaction is the most important part in an e-commerce because obviously we want our business to have a stable income, for instance, so it can keep going and so on and so forth. So I think maybe the first thing that you can prioritize is about the copywriting and the how do you call it, like cart page. I mean, the place where your customer can collect their to be purchased products. Because I think this plays an important role in an e-commerce. If they couldn't find, for instance, a way to check out or proceed to the payment, for instance, then the transaction never be made. I mean, the transaction is not there. The transaction rate will be low, and so on and so forth, right? So I think that's the most crucial part. It's my personal opinion, but of course you can adjust with your needs. That's the first priority, and the second one maybe in the product detail page. I mean, this is actually in the top priority lah. I mean, not necessarily in first and second rank, but those two things I think they're in the top priority, and also in the homepage, because homepage is where the users it's a welcoming page. Like when you see a website, you can first thing that you can see is the homepage, right? And then when you consider okay, which type of thing that I want to buy, you will see the product page, and then you will jump into the cart page and then the payment page. So I think those three things they work hand in hand. They couldn't be separated, for instance, but yeah, I think those three things can be on the top priorities if you want to, maybe there are so many things that you have to test. Those three things, I think, you can use as the top priority. Mhm.
Excellent. Thanks, Karina. We have Narwatsu. He's raising his hand. Go ahead, you can unmute.
And my voice is pretty clear enough.
Yes, you're clear.
I, cool. So I do have a question, but I think I got a lot of questions, but I just want to make it quick. Anyways, first, I do have a problem, like I do have a business to run with it, and I just want to make it, I just want to scale it, make it more bigger. But apparently, I do have a problem to find target personas, which is quite tricky. Like, I try a different method. Like, I don't know what it called, but it doesn't work. It always like I'm always stuck into my assumption. So how do I cope with it? How do I cope with my assumption? Do you have any methodologies to find a target persona objectively? So that is my question.
Okay. Oh, that's all? I think you will go with another question. Great. Thank you, Narwastu, for your question. So maybe, okay, I will say this. So I usually suggest people, when they conducting research, start with a blank canvas, like really literally blank canvas, like white paper, no ink in there, right? No assumption in there, right? Because I'm afraid that if we start from an assumption is different from hypothesis. Yeah, hypothesis is actually based on something that is more, real, I would say, like maybe internal data and so on. But assumption is something that that maybe they just in our mind, right? Maybe it's not based on our data or so on, right? So I'm afraid that if we start our research with an assumption, it will like haunt us. Like, we get stuck with that assumption. We try so hard to answer that assumption, right? Which is not good, because maybe there are so many things that we can capture if we don't stuck with that assumption, right? So always start with the blank canvas. And if we really want to build a personas is a big thing, actually, because it covers like the whole environment of our business, right? Yeah, eventually our users are very they came from various backgrounds and so on and so forth. So personas is a very big thing. And after we start with a blank canvas, I think it is really important to spend more time to talk to our users, right? Maybe we can start with looking to our internal data. Maybe we can see our buyers, they came from what background, they came from what region, from what age, and so on and so forth, and what gender, and so on and so forth. We can try to make some kind of categorization from that. It's just the way for us to be easier, to reach out them. So after that, have a talk with those big segments. It's okay, because we want to see a pattern, right? We want to see a big umbrella, a big picture of our business, right? So talk to them as comprehensive as possible, as holistic as possible. And then after that, after we spend time talking with users, try to connecting the dots. And then after that, try to extract the key takeaways. And I think that's one of the good approach for us to build a personas. And of course, our business have a dynamic thing. I mean, everything can be happen at any time. So I think it will be better for us to do a continuous persona research so that we can really see about what's changing and what's not, and what's working, what's still working, and what's not, what kind of improvement that we can do to be still relevant to our users and so on. So yeah, I know my answer is quite long, but to recap, maybe first things first, start with a blank canvas. Really important to look into our internal data and then build hypothesis from there, build some kind of categorization to help us to, reach out to our users, and then talk to as many people as possible, spend time, because research, a good research, it's not like, like a snap gitu kan. You have to spend time, maybe months, but that's okay, because it's the process, right? And then from there you can extract the findings. And I think because you start from the blank canvas and you talk to many people from different backgrounds, then you can also have a more holistic and more comprehensive views to your buyers. So yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Really starting from scratch, removing the bias. Because I understand the tendency for us, I'm also a business owner, is we start with an assumption because we think that we're already experienced, we know this, but at the end of the day, it's all about our users. It's not about us. So we really have to start, try to remove our bias as much as possible.
Right.
About finding your persona, Chris is dropping some insights here. Google Analytics can help you find buyer persona. So I hope Narwatz is taking note of that as well. We have Oscar here. He's raising his hand. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning for me. I'm down in Colombia, in South America right now. And
Hello.
my question to you, Karin, after just pointing out that it was a great presentation, how do you determine the number of users to test for user experience, specifically on a new business that has never had a website?
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So this is a very common question. I got this question like a lot, like, I often got this question. But actually, I would say there's no such a lucky number. If we talk about number, maybe some of us, have read so many articles about this number, right? Some of scientists say that 3 is already enough. 7 is the best number, and then some other scientists would say 5 is the best number. There are so many opinions about this, but I personally, based on my experience, I would usually go with 5 person for each segment, right? So, for instance, we try to track back to the previous case study that we discussed earlier. So, in that case study, we only have one segment, right? We just want to dig deeper into users who bounced out from cart page in the past 6 months. That's only one segment, right? So we can talk to 5 people with that criteria, right? It will be different if we extract another segment and then we just add more 5 people, more 5 people, more 5 people according to the segment. So why I say 5 people is enough is based on my experience. If I go with more people, for instance, the 6th people, the 7th people, and so on and so forth, they usually say the same thing. The pattern is, kind of, it's not really, dynamic, not yet dynamic before. It's not, it didn't bring me a new insight for me, right? I mean, I'm talking about incentive, because we usually give an incentive to our users. We're talking about time. We're talking also about our effort to reach out to our users, right? I think the more efficient the budget, the better, right? The more efficient the effort, the more efficient the time, the better, right? So after several times experimenting with numbers, I would say it will be better if we can start from 5 people, because we can see the dynamics, whether or not the pattern is there. And if not, then we can add people along the way. But if we see that, oh, okay, the pattern is there, I can extract the point, the key takeaways from that, then yeah, just stop and go to the next step of the research process, which is data analysis and measure impactment.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think that's also a very attainable number, even for a small business. We have here Amanda. Amanda, go ahead. You're raising your hand.
Hello. Okay. Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, and thank you, Kak Karina, for the presentation. I need to apologize because my connection was unstable at the beginning, so maybe I'm missing something. But let me ask this: in the research process, I realized that the hardest thing is recruiting participants. We usually use reward information in the beginning as an incentive or bait for users to become participants. But on the other hand, this action also risks to bringing in transactional participation. Participants who just want to make money, and not the participant we really need. Have you experienced the same thing, and what did you do about it? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, this is a very common thing also. Yeah. So yeah, actually we cannot control people, right? Yeah, we cannot control them whether or not they participate in our session for money or for gifts, for incentives, and so on and so forth. But I usually, at the very beginning of the recruiting stage, I usually didn't disclose about the number of incentives that we will give to the participant, right? We just said that, oh yeah, there will be an incentive, because it's kind of hard, for us to not disclose anything about incentive, because I mean, people will participate if they can have something in turn, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think just mention about there will be an incentive, but don't mention the number, because it will give them a more false focus, I would say. It will increase the bias, because their tendency is for the big amount of money, not for participating in the session. So I think that's good approach that you can use, because I also implement that approach, the kind of approach for quite some time lah, for about this past 2 years gitu. And the result is quite good gitu. I mean, the participant, they're insightful. They're insightful, and the results that I give to the product managers eventually can convert to a good conversion rate and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that's a good thing that you can try also in your business.
Good question,
Okay.
Amanda. Yeah, very
Thank
practical answer from Karina. Thanks, Amanda. We have a very interesting question here from Arnold. Yeah, and maybe you can give an example. As a researcher, Arnold asks, how do you tackle the problem of one product's success becoming another product's problem? Is this, Arnold, something that you've experienced? Maybe you can give a more detailed example.
Okay. Hi, Jolene. Thank you. Hi, Karina. Nice presentation. Really, really good English. And okay, yeah, my question is, for example, you're in Tokopedia, right? How about in maybe in their home screen, one product going well, but another product is taking a toll about it, you know? Maybe one product is overshadowing their their metrics, or maybe there are conflicting metrics, you know, like cannibal, or maybe cannibalizing one of another customer. Thank you.
Thanks,
Right,
Arnold.
right. Yeah, that's a tough question. Yeah. Yeah, especially for a growing business. Yeah, because growing business usually have a more varied features, and sometimes it will happen, right? So I think it's the importance of alignment between stakeholders. So make sure that one product is not cannibalizing another product. Because of that, in Tokopedia, so for instance, business people, they want to make a product, yeah, an X product, for instance, right? And then before launching the product, they usually will quote unquote consult to another team as well, like maybe product managers, even from different division, right? Because in Tokopedia, it's one environment, but very diverse stuff in there, very diverse feature in there, right? And most of the time, the feature is related to each other, right? So I think that's the importance of alignment discussion, and make sure that you have a win-win solution to the business. And I think it is also the importance of looking or tracking to our internal data, and doing continuous research, for instance, because like I mentioned earlier, a product maybe today it's a winning product, but we don't know like a month later or 2 months later, maybe it has a declining performance, right? So I think it is also the importance of looking at our internal data, and then monitoring the performance, and then continuously getting feedback from our users. I know it sounds painful because talking to users, it takes time, but again, like I mentioned earlier, it's worth it because we can still relevant with our users, and then we can cope with our users, with their different needs, with their various things that happens in their life. So yeah, I think those two things that I can suggest about alignment and continuously monitoring and researching to our users.
Yeah, it's really possible that there are other factors at play. So it's not just those changes in the website that affect the product performance. Could be marketing. So like Karina said, talk to users. Arnold actually has another question. I like his questions. This is slightly controversial. What do you do about HIPPO, highest paid people, if their decision does not align with the research finding?
Highest paid people. Is this about like higher about top management people
Yeah.
in top management? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Right.
decision makers. Yeah.
Yeah, decision makers, right? So I think it is really important for us to really discuss about what they have in mind, right? Because maybe we're just not aligned in some ways, right? Maybe they have something that they're not communicating with us, and we don't know about that, and then we think that this is not aligned with the research process, the research result, and so on and so forth, right? But if after we have so many discussions and the result is literally they don't want to hear users' voices, for instance. They just want to, like implement what they have in mind. Then I would say it's a like it's hard, but I would say just go for it. I mean, maybe they just need to see the real proof, whether or not the solution is working. I mean, eventually the numbers after the implementation will talk louder than the discussion before the pre-launch, right? So yeah, just give them some space to prove their ideas, and then let's see if the result is good. Then yeah, good for you. But when the result is bad, then yeah, that's just the consequence. I mean, yeah, that's I think that's the only way to really give the real proof to the decision makers, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, time will tell how the users will respond to the decision. Yeah. We have a question here from Chris. This is something that's more related to your professional work as a UX designer. So I have a friend. She is a great UX designer, very talented, but she is a very shy person. How can she learn to be more confident in dealing with her clients? Do you have any tips for her?
Okay. So I think we can, like try to dig deeper into what is the root cause, why she's very shy. I mean, yeah, shy is maybe one of the type of personality, right? But I think there must be something that eventually makes her shy. Maybe because she feels like, oh, I'm not capable to conduct a research, for instance. I'm not capable enough to make a good design, for instance, and so on and so forth. So I think try to, like ask herself about why am I doing like this? I mean, why am I like really shy? It is whether it is only my personality or there is something that actually I can learn to boost up my confidence, right? Maybe I can learn from experts, for instance. Maybe I can, have a consultation session with the experts so that I can have a broader exposure about UX cases outside. So yeah, I think try to look at the root cause and then try to find the solution. And I think one of the solutions is that like reading books and watching YouTube videos about UX designs. I mean, YouTube has a lot of good contents nowadays, so you can also learn about technical things even in YouTube, right? So I think that is one of the ways that you can do to boost up your confidence and eventually your performance in your business.
Karina, I'm curious, do you recommend mentorships like for new UX designers? Do you recommend them to reach out to more established UX professionals and maybe have a mentorship relationship with them, or are you actually involved in one? I'm curious.
Yeah. Yes, of course. But why am I not, mentioning that thing? Because typically mentorship system, the mentee has to pay for a certain amount of money, while maybe like job shifters, for instance, or someone who is in the entry level, they kind of like maybe they're not really into I mean, I'm talking about financial ability, right? If you know what I meant. So yeah, I think if there is a free source, like for instance YouTube videos, or maybe like free books, free ebooks that you can search on Google, maybe you can utilize those things first, right? Later, if you have like a more stable financial ability, and then you are actually willing to pay some more money to hire a mentor, for instance, then actually you can go for it. But yeah, I think it's a matter of the desire of the people themselves. Yeah, I mean, whether or not they want to have mentorship, or maybe they just want to utilize the resource for the sake of like building their stairway to the professional career itself.
Yeah, I like that answer. Very practical. So I hope that was helpful for your friend Chris. We have time for one more question, I think. Does anyone want to ask the last question? Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Come on. Does anyone want to be the ender? Maybe just one more question from me personally. The slide about UX research methodology, I think, is very informative. I'm curious, do you have like a recommendation of reading lists so that we can learn? Because I think it's very crucial when you decide what type of research methodology you're actually going to apply to your project. So do you have like a recommended book or a website we can check out for more information on that?
Right. Okay. So for a book, actually, I kind of forgot the title of the book, but I remember when I started my career as a UX researcher, I also read this book, and this is actually very good. If I'm mistaken, the title is Observing User Experience, but I forgot the publisher. Sorry. The title is Observing User Experience, but I remember the cover is it's black. It's black with a little bit of yellow, soft yellow color, something like that. But you can Google for it. Observing User Experience. That's a great book. It's not only for an entry level of UX researcher, but also even for me, I've been working in this field for about 3 years. It's still insightful for me. Like, I mean, there are so many things that I can take from that book. And then for website or YouTube channels, well, actually, I'm not a good reader, so I'm a good watcher, YouTube watcher. Same, yeah. Yeah. So for YouTube channel, I really like Nielsen Norman Group. I believe you guys are familiar with this, especially UX enthusiasts. And Group, yeah, you can check out their website and also their YouTube channel, because it's not only about a theoretical thing, but they also answer about things happening in UX, for instance, about numbers. They also answer things about numbers to be sufficient in the research. And also Kevin Liang. So Kevin Liang, one of the quotes from Kevin Liang, I put it in my slide earlier. So Kevin Liang is actually he has a YouTube channel called Zero to UX. He explains user experience in a very engaging way, because I think he is a millennial. So I mean, his editing skills is also good, and I don't know, it's just really fun to watch their videos, because it is not only about a theoretical thing, but also about practical things. So yeah, I think those two sources that I can suggest to you for entry-level UX enthusiasts, even for like a more senior level of UX researchers.
Great. Thank you so much. And by the way, Chris and Danny, they've sent links here where you can find the book and Kevin Liang's YouTube channel. So thank you guys from the community for sharing those resources. Again, thank you so much, Karina. It was a very informative talk. Your answers to our questions were very insightful, very practical. Thank you so much. So
Thank
for
you.
our